Good.
Jeff, how has the offense looked in scrimmages? Have you been pleased with what you've seen there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of good. There's been plenty, that we're continuing to work through and fix, and just continuing to try to create depth at every single position. I do like where we're at. I like our guys' attitude and their effort and their toughness. We got to continue to get better. I think our guys understand that as we work towards next Saturday.
Specifically the wide receiver group, where do you feel like they stand here, 2 weeks before the first game?
I think we're going to be able to play multiple guys. I think that's the best part of that group right now, is that I think you got a chance to see 6 or 7 guys, which that wasn't necessarily the case last year. So feel good about the depth of that room. Guys got to go make plays next Saturday.
How's the depth behind Stogner at tight end coming along?
Yeah, Blake's done a good job, and then we're continuing to work Josh and Cade and some other guys there to create that depth. We're not where we want to be. That's something that we're continuing to work on and focus on as we're moving towards next weekend.
How's Llewellyn? Is his health? Has he been healthy this spring?
Yeah, Jason's healthy this fall, and he's done well. He'll continue to get reps and get work as we get closer.
The stuff that Dylan talked about this offseason, wanting to improve on situational stuff and the efficiency, has that played out in the scrimmages as you hoped?
Yeah, it has. It's still a work in progress. I think as you stand here right now, and we're 10 days away from game day, you still, you always want more. I think that's the natural part of coaching. But at the same time, there has been real growth. Timing has been good with the receivers, with that entire group and things like that. So, again, we're at a good spot. We got to get better every single day as we move forward.
How is you'll be looking for on September 2nd? I mean, the numbers will tell us some part of the story, but what will you want to see there with Dylan?
We want to see great balance. We want to see us being able to run the football at will and being able to protect and throw it around. So that's who we're always going to be. That's who we want to be. We want to have incredible balance, and that's the goal for that Saturday.
Specifically with Dylan, in those off-season things, are there things you'll be looking for that day?
Yeah, we want to be efficient. If we're in those situations, we want to see us be able to make plays, do a great job in the pocket, be in the right protections, and pitch and catch.
How has Savion come along so far? And it sounds like he's put on the right amount of weight that you guys want.
Yeah, Savion's done a nice job. He's continuing to mature. Obviously, physically, he's a difference maker at that position inside. He's got to continue to mature and understand what we're doing inside of every game plan. But proud of how he's worked himself into being a real guy at left guard. So, again, just like everybody else, just like myself, we got to get a heck of a lot better before next Saturday.
What do you think about that overall group and the offensive line, how it's coming together? You do have some veterans up there.
Yeah, we've got guys that have played a lot of football, so that's been a huge part of it. There's experience inside that group. There's a couple guys that hadn't necessarily played a lot of ball that are incredibly capable. So we feel good about that group, and we do. Now it's time to continue to tune it up and get ready for showtime next Saturday.
What about Tyler Guy? How much different of a player is he now than he was maybe going back to the Cheez-It Bowl?
Yeah, again, he's just another year into it. This is a guy that hadn't played the position for a long time, has had limited starts at the position, so he's continuing to get better every day. I think we all are aware of what he can be, but he's got to go be it. And he's got the right mindset about it. He's been incredibly tough and eager to get better every day, and he's got to continue that trend to get where he wants to be and where we want to be.
How different is the role or the mindset for someone like Marcus Major?
Yeah, Marcus he's a guy that's had 14 good practices, and a guy that's had really good toughness in the room. He's had really good leadership. So again, we're looking for big things out of Marcus, continuing to keep him healthy and get him to the field every Saturday.
Along those lines, Jeff, that running back room, you said before fall camp started, you feel like you've got options there, but after a couple weeks, how is that room shaping up?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think you got a chance to see multiple guys get carries next Saturday, which is a great thing. Got a chance to keep guys, fresh and healthy. I think everybody understands how we want to run the football. That won't change. You got a chance to do it by committee, which is huge.
Julian Gibson talked yesterday a lot about the mental side of the game and growing his confidence. Have you seen that so far through fall camp?
Yeah, I think Jaden, the young man that he is today compared to a year ago or 16 months ago is completely different. I think he'd say the same thing. So appreciate him and just him sticking to it and trusting the plan and understanding he's created, a really good amount of trust with us as a staff, and look forward to what he's going to do for us.
Jeff, if things go to plan, Jackson will play probably the least football he's played since his sophomore year of high school. What will that look like for him in terms of his day-to-day, the things he'll be doing?
Yeah, I think Jackson is concerned about doing a really good job every single rep. He is focused on the right things, and it's being detailed inside of every single rep, every single day to give himself a chance that whenever that opportunity does appear, he's going to be ready for it. So his mindset is really good. He needs to continue that. He will. Dylan's been an incredible mentor for him, leader for him, which has been huge for his growth. But that's his plan, and that's what he'll do.
Guys you've seen in that spot before, what have they done to excel? It's a new sort of place for him to be.
As lame as it may sound, it is literally about getting every single rep, whether it's mental or physical, every single day in practice, getting every single rep, regardless of who I'm coaching in the film room. And it is truly that simple, and it's monotonous, but again, he's a guy that understands that. And it's natural for him to want to get better and to be very dialed into the detail. And he's got to continue that, but again, he will.
Jeff, do you talk more about your approach with your quarterback room when you have a guy that's established and probably in his last year, and also have a young, talented guy that you want to try and find him a way to get some experience?
Yeah, as we get into it, I think the biggest thing is making sure that we're rolling offensively and making sure that we're in great rhythm, we're having great success, we've got great balance, and we're doing the things that we need to do to be dominant and go win a football game and put our defense in great position. So that's where my mind is right now. We'll see how it goes as we move forward.
So Dylan comes out, plays really well, the offense goes well, then maybe you start thinking about it.
Yeah, well, as we get into it, I think you think about it as you're in the situation a little bit more, but the focus is starting fast, playing really well, and going from there.
We know you want to be dominant in the run game. Do you want Dylan to play a much bigger role in that this year, or are you comfortable with how it played out last year?
I feel like we got great backs in the room. I really do. So those guys are running backs, our quarterback's a quarterback, and that's kind of how we're rolling right now.
How would you describe kind of what you've seen out of Jaleel right now as kind of a go? I don't know if go-to's the right word, but a guy that's got the most experience now with Dylan.
Just seeing maturity and consistency. He is, Drake's been an incredible leader in that group, inside that room every single day. His toughness, his attitude, his effort, his attention to detail, that's really helped Jaleel, as he's seen that. So, again, Jaleel's created consistency, which was huge for him. Expect him to do big things as we move forward in the fall.
Has Gabriel had a good time with new receivers? Feels like he had the time to see him.
Yeah, he really has. They had a lot of work, obviously, in the spring, and then with these guys this summer. So spent a lot of time together, and then obviously all the reps that we've gotten in fall camp. He feels good with the entire group right now, which is huge.
I know the receivers have talked a lot about player-led practices over the summer. Have you seen the difference with those guys coming in after spring? What different was last year? You
just see the difference in it being year two, and there being true understanding inside the scheme. Some things that were having to be coached every single day, all day this time last year. Those guys understand it, so you're able to coach maybe a little more detail, or you're able to coach the next guy a little bit harder because guys understand exactly what you're asking them to do, which has been good.
Jeff, you're about a week and a half from your opener. Are you where you want to be offensively? I mean, you have any major concerns or anything?
I think that'll be a little easier to answer after next Saturday, after we go play for real. Again, today, as we get off the practice field, we want to do a lot of things a lot better. I got a feeling next Saturday will be the same thing. It's not going to be a game of perfect, but I feel really good about our guys' intent, feel really good about our guys' toughness and attitude and want to and playing the way we need them to play every single Saturday. So that's been great to see.
What kind of camps LB had?
Yeah, he's a guy that's just created value for himself because there's a ton of trust. He can play inside, he can play outside. At any point in time, the guy could be anywhere on the field, and he knows exactly what to do. And so he's found ways to create value for himself and create trust with me, with Coach Jones, and that's been fun to watch.
Jeff, Gavin Freeman, it's a guy we've heard a lot about. Maybe just through a couple of weeks, what kind of role is he carving out in the offense?
I think you got a chance to see Gavin a bunch. Again, he's a guy that had an incredible spring, had a great summer, has had a really good fall camp, and the last 2 days has been really good. So, again, this is a guy that's electric with it in his hands, but he's incredibly tough, blocking on the perimeter, doing all the dirty work that you want him to do as well. So expect a lot from him.
As a former offensive lineman, a former assistant there at that position, student assistant, does that ever really leave you? Are you always kind of interested in how your offensive line's looking, or do you You almost want to have some input there at times.
No, I mean, we're going to go as the big boys go. This game is won in the trenches, and if you're on the wrong side of it, there's probably some issues in the trenches. So I'm fully aware that being dominant up front and leaning on people and doing what we need to do offensively is going to start and stop with those guys. So that won't ever leave me, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of guys with that history. Like Kevin Wilson was a guy that was here that had that offensive line. Does that make it? I don't know. Does that give you guys an advantage over some offensive coordinators?
I don't know. I think again, we want to have great balance. We want to run the football. We want to be explosive. We want to take care of the rock and again put our defense in great shape every single time they're on the field. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it as we get into it.
Jeff, I know you're focused on the offensive side of things, but maybe through these scrimmages, a couple of weeks of practice, what have you seen from that defensive line
guys,
compared to last year?
Guys that know what to do and are committed to being physical. Guys that are flying around, and there's depth on the other side. And again, we've got some really good leaders for the football team on that side of the ball that have done a really good job as we've moved into it.
What do you see out of a guy like Brennan Thompson and Falcon so far?
Yeah, just trying to get Brennan all the way back healthy. Just